She said, "I have an important meeting tonight, so I won't be coming home." But when I stepped out, I saw her on a date with another man. I stayed silent. The next day, she texted asking me out for a date, so I sent her a picture of me with another woman instead. "My name is Lucas. I'm 26, and I used to believe that love was enough to hold two people together. My wife, Sarah, was 23, beautiful, ambitious, and the kind of woman who could make a room stop just by walking in. We met when she was still finishing college, and back then, she seemed to adore the simplicity of our life. Late-night takeouts, watching movies on the couch, talking about dreams that seemed too big for our small apartment. It all felt like a forever kind of thing. For a long time, I thought we were unstoppable. I worked long hours as a junior engineer, trying to build something stable for us. She'd always say, "You're doing great, babe. Someday we'll have that house with a garden." I believed every word. I thought we were a team. But over time, I started to notice subtle shifts. The way she'd spend more time on her phone, how her smile faded when I walked into the room, or the way she'd dress up beautifully but say she was just meeting colleagues. One Thursday evening, she walked into the kitchen wearing a black dress I'd never seen before. Her hair was curled, perfume heavy, and makeup done with a precision that spoke of intent. "I have an important meeting tonight," she said casually, grabbing her purse. "Don't wait up for me, okay? It might go late." I nodded. "A meeting?" I asked. She didn't even look at me. "Yes, a work thing. Just some networking with clients." And with that, she was out the door. At first, I tried to believe her, but something didn't sit right. Maybe it was the way she avoided eye contact or the way her voice quivered just a little. So after a while, I grabbed my keys and drove to the downtown area where most of the restaurants were. I told myself I was paranoid, that I'd find nothing. But when I pulled into the parking lot of a fancy Italian restaurant, my heart stopped. Through the glass window, I saw her, Sarah, my wife, sitting across from a man I'd never seen before. They were laughing, their hands brushing across the table. The look in her eyes, that soft gaze I used to think was meant only for me, was now fixed on him. I could have walked in. I could have confronted her right there, made a scene, demanded answers. But something inside me snapped quietly instead of loudly. I took a deep breath, watched them for a moment longer, then turned around and drove away. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about every time she'd said she was working late, every client dinner, every networking event. It all suddenly made sense. My chest hurt, but not from rage. It was from disbelief. How could someone you love that deeply lie so easily? The next morning, she came home acting as if nothing had happened. She kissed my cheek, told me her meeting went well, and asked if I wanted pancakes. I played along, smiled, nodded, because in that moment, I decided I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken. Later that day, I got a message from her while I was at work. It read, "Sarah, hey, babe, let's go out tonight. Just you and me. I feel like we haven't spent time together in a while." I stared at that message for a full minute, feeling every ounce of irony in those words. She had no idea I knew. No idea that the night before, I'd watched her laugh with another man like I never existed. So I replied simply, "Me, sure, sounds good." But instead of preparing for that so-called date, I called up an old friend, Nora, someone I'd known since college. She'd always been there for me, just as a friend. When she heard my voice, she immediately knew something was wrong. I told her everything. She was quiet for a while before saying, "You don't deserve that, Lucas. You really don't." Later that evening, I met Nora at a cafe near the lake. We talked, laughed, and for the first time in weeks, I actually felt human again. I snapped a picture, just the two of us, smiling genuinely, and sent it to Sarah. The caption I added was simple: "Meeting's going great." It took only a few minutes for her to respond. "Sarah? Who's that?" "Me, a friend." "Why? You're the one who has late meetings, right?" She didn't reply for almost an hour. When she finally did, the messages came rapid fire. "Sarah, Lucas, What are you talking about? Sarah? Are you trying to make me jealous? Sarah. That's so immature of you. I read those words slowly, then typed. Me. You lied, Sarah. I saw you last night. I saw everything. There was silence for a long time. Then one final message. Sarah. Lucas, it's not what you think. But it was exactly what I thought. That night, she came home, her eyes red from crying, her voice soft and apologetic. I was confused, she said. He's just a friend from work. I didn't want to upset you. I looked at her calmly and said, You didn't want to upset me, but you had no problem betraying me. She broke down then. Apologies, excuses, promises, but they all sounded hollow. I packed a bag, told her I needed space, and left. For the first time in months, the air felt clear. Weeks passed. She tried to reach out, tried to fix things. But by then, I'd already moved on mentally. I'd started going out more, seeing friends I'd neglected, rebuilding the parts of myself she'd taken for granted. One day, out of nowhere, she sent me a long text about how she missed me, how she realized I was the one, and how she was ready to start fresh. I replied, You had your chance, Sarah, but you chose your meeting, and that was the end of it. Now, looking back, I don't feel anger, just gratitude, because that night, when I saw her on that date, it wasn't the end of something beautiful. It was the beginning of me finally learning what I deserve. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't anger or shouting. It's silence, growth, and moving on with grace. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more stories like this.